second. Oh, okay, there we go. Stream's finally working. Albeit quite slow. Hey, everyone zip it. I'm, okay. Drake, shut up. Just shut up. I think we're here. I want to see what we did with this. I'm trying to figure out where we are, and I'm trying to make sense of all this. There used to be this great little program that did a splendid job. Okay, so we put this here. We'll move that up there. Let's pull this down here like this, because normally your terminal is up top anyway. So I actually developed a lot in Linux for several years using nothing but this right here. I had this little thing here editing files. I had nothing giving me any syntax guidance at all. I had a file manager right down this way. And I remember I could press F9 and make that disappear. I don't know why they got rid of that. And I would sit here with my website for the instructions, my text editor here, this right here, and then I had my terminal up top. And I developed web servers, I don't know, for maybe 4 years. Maybe for 4 years, just like that. Okay. Let's list this and see where we're at. Okay, so we're at 11 here. All right. Did we do more last week? No, 11:18. We did. We did. Okay. Diff. That's what we want to look at, diff. So if we go to okay. Let's open up. We're here in FRC. And we need to go to C space 201.11. Okay, so we're going to open up all these because if we look at this, you'll notice, these are the different files we have here. Okay. Now, last time, let's just start with this one last time. This is SortMe, which has all these random lines. And so you can run, we've got a 2D, 6E, 703B, 4AG, 1CF5, okay? So we can put those in alphabetical order with sort. Now, R is reverse, okay? But you see, if we run sort, then it puts all the lines in alphabetical order. That's the sort command. And R will reverse it. Okay. So I want to point out one thing with this, and that's what we'll look at next in diff. Each line matters a lot in Linux. Putting something on a new line matters. Putting something on a new line matters. Okay. Because Linux will... What is that on my head? Okay, all right. Linux will see each line as something to address. And it does this with sed for search and replace. It will only search the first instance in a line unless you tell it otherwise. Sort will put things in alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order based on lines. So when you're dealing with text files and lines, when you're dealing with text files in Linux, the lines that you're using has a new meaning. And so in Markdown, unless you skip a line, you have one line, an empty line, and another line. You skip a line. Unless you skip that line, you don't have a new paragraph in Markdown. You could have a paragraph but put each sentence on each line, and in Markdown, all of it will render as one paragraph. And you can organize it in the text file by line, but they're they become one paragraph in the render. So in Linux, a lot in code, you can break up your code into many lines, and it doesn't actually form. The code doesn't actually create a new line until you put, say, a semicolon. PHP is like this. Okay, so the lines that you're using can be used for all kinds of things in Linux, and you want to get that into your head. that a new line is not used the same way as a new paragraph in English. And there are many things that you can do with it. New lines can be ignored by code, but they can also be sortable and usable by many of the Linux tools. Okay, so there's a lot happening and not happening with a new line. And it really makes a lot of things very convenient. It really does. Okay, so that's sort me here. We don't need these. These are just, those aren't part of teaching. Those are part of repository. We're using these here. So let's have a look at those. I'm going to close this. And watch. I could highlight all these and drag them in here like this. But you can just use Gedit to open up everything that starts with FRC dash. Okay, so press that, and then here we are. So can you see this? Can you see the letters in this, Roy?
Yes.
Okay. So here we have it. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones, so let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously has Caesar answered it. Here under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. Many presidents and world leaders and kings look at this speech to understand how to lead people during difficult times. Shakespeare was in the court of the first great king or queen, who's a queen of England, Elizabeth. And so he was learning from her, and probably, like, he was in her court, I believe. He would go in and talk with her at times. And she would go see his plays. She would watch his plays. When the greatest queen or king of the country, a world empire ever, is watching your stuff, that's a compliment. And this was the type of stuff he would have gotten ideas from how she did things, and she would have seen how he picked up on it and what he was learning from her. So they were learning from each other. They were learning from each other somehow. So this isn't just an idea in a story. This was important to the queen. And the queen was important to him. So, here's what I want to look at. I've taken this famous soliloquy from Shakespeare. Now, you're eating, Roy, which is fine. You're mostly listening. But I want you to look at this before I move on too much. Okay. There are 6 of these files here. And they're all a little different. Look, this one has an extra first line. If we don't have that first line, then they're the same. You see that? Okay. But this one has an extra first line. This one is missing a line. The evil that men do lives after them. We don't have that in 3. And there's another one. Hey! Stay. Hey! 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 Don't make me come out there. Roy, did your mother ever say that, but in Chinese? Don't make me come out there. Did she ever say that? Do you ever know parents in Taiwan to talk that way? Have you ever heard this in Taiwan at all? Don't make me come talk to you. Okay. So, either your mother did a very good job because you never did anything wrong ever, or maybe your mother just doesn't care. Or maybe it's your father who talks that way. Does your father talk that way? Okay. Well, that's probably because you're number one in the whole country. You know, when you're the best student in the whole country, then mom won't talk that way. All right, whatever. So, there are a few other missing lines, and we'll look at that. But you can see, okay, the third one is missing a line. Now, the fourth one, we're combining some lines, and we're changing some things. This period, this semicolon here became a period, right here, and I think this also. That's a colon, and it became a period. And we combined some lines. So we combined some lines. 5 is the same, but if you notice this, there's extra space at the end of. See, I can't do this. I can't just highlight a little bit, but here I can highlight a little bit of space. There's space at the end of 3, and there's space at the beginning of 2. A lot of space. It's called white space. And then these are all capital. Other than that, FRC 1 and 5 are the same, and then FRC 6 is the same as FRC 1. We call that FRC from Friends, Romans, Countrymen, if you're curious. Okay, so there are small differences in these files, and we're going to look at the differences. Now, Roy, when I edit your work, there's a diff, and we haven't gone back and looked at that, at the green and the red. Remember that? You know, which normally we could see if you typed up your homework, which you never do, because we've gotten on to other things. But do you remember that? We could look at your difference and we could see the red and the green for when you typed it differently. Okay. That red and green we'd use on the website is using the same tech that we're using here in Linux. Okay, it's called diff. So, there are many commands that compare files. CMP returns the position of the first difference. COMM, it's 3 columns and it only processes files sorted with sort. Diff is what we're doing with many options. So I'm just going to start diffing these, and we're going to see what the terminal says. Okay, let's run a diff here. First diff. Okay. What this says, if we don't use any options, FRC1 is a file. It tells us that the first one has nothing, and the second one adds line 1, which it does. And this is the difference, which is nothing. It's just an empty line. That's what that means. Line 0 in the first one, add line 1 in the second one, and this is the added line, which is nothing. Okay? It's a very simple thing, and this is the syntax and how it works. Okay, let's compare 1 to 3, which will be more interesting. There's a lot more going on. We're actually missing some lines. So, okay, line 3 is deleted. And moves up. The evil that men do lives after them. That's deleted. Line 3 is deleted. And I think I honestly don't know what the 2 means. It might be the last same line. I'm not going to guess. But the key is this. Line 3 was deleted. And maybe line 2 is the same. Okay. Everything else is different. Okay, and this is the one that was deleted. This is the active. Not added. Here, added on line 1 is nothing. But this is a reference to the first file, and this is a reference to the line of the second file. Line of the first file is 3, line of the second file is 2. Okay. Let's compare 1 and 4. Here we've got a lot. From 1 to 4, there were many differences. A lot of semicolons became periods. Okay. Some sentences were combined. So I want you to look at this. This is all of it. Okay. So here, line 1 in the first file changed to line 1 in the second file. This, see the arrow is pointing this way to the first one. And this arrow is pointing the other way to the second one. This was the first file, this was the second file. Again, line 3 changed. First file, line 3 is changed. Line 3 is where it appears in the second file. See, here's the thing about this. Diff knows what line it's on. In here, if I did this, in fact, let's run this. If I did this and saved it, let's run it again. Then it would know we changed lines 1 and 2, and then line 3 and 4, it knows that they're mostly the same with a small difference. It knows that line 3 in the first file is much the same as line 4 in the second file, with only that change. Diff can figure that out. Do you see what I'm saying here, Roy?
Yeah.
So it's really smart. And understand, this goes back before any AI. You know, this was used in the 80s. The 1980s. This thing could figure out that these were the same sentences even though they're on a different line. And that is quite a good program. It doesn't need any AI calculation to figure it out. It knows. So these diffing tools are very brilliant at finding differences and similarities. And changing the line number will not fool or confuse it. And I'll tell you this, a lot of AI, if you ask to compare this document to that document, AI stuff will probably be using diff in its review. It'll review a lot of things. AI is getting really smart, Roy. It's getting really smart. There was a Christian church leader near where I live, and he has a story that the local people talk about. And I asked Elon Musk's AI, Grok, it's XAI, about that story. And the AI already knew the local story. It didn't have to read books and search to find it. It had already found it and included it in its basic knowledge. It's kind of creepy, but it's also kind of cool. Those AIs already know a lot of stuff. And I'm telling you, I would bet it would be foolish if they didn't use the diff tool inside the core function of the AIs. So this is what I wanted to point out. It knows line 1 in the first file changed to lines 1 through 2. This comma does not mean 1 and 2. It means 1 through 2. So if I did this and I ran this again, it'd say line 1 comma 5. This line became these lines, adding all of these here. And again, pointing to the first file, pointing to the second file. So in when we're dealing with this, and also when we're dealing with other syntax and some regexes, the comma means through. It does not mean 1 and 5. It means 1 through 5. Okay. And part of that's because we want the dash to mean something else. And I think dash is a file name and comma cannot be a file name. I think that's what that's about. It's not about making it look good for humans. It's about using a character that we're not allowed to use in other places. Here it's just text, so the character doesn't matter. So it knows, and here it knows that this was line 3 and this was line 7, and they're the same line. They're just on a different place. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete those, put it back at what it was. And again, by the time we got down here, line 25 changed to line 26. Lines 19 through 22 changed in lines 22 through 23. Okay, let's go back to what it originally was. No extra lines. They start the same. Here we have, it knows that these lines changed, and lines 13 through 17 changed to line 13 through 15. So what's happened here is 13 through 17 is here. That became 13 through 15 here. It knows that we combined these lines here. And it knows that we combined these two lines into one line here. It knows that. Before, they're all the same line. After, now the lines change. Diff knows, Roy. It knows. It knows. It's really brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to do 15 here. These files here, 5, not 15, 5. You know, there's not much difference. Here's the thing, though. It knows that there's extra space here. There's no extra space here. It knows the capital letter difference, the extra space before, and the extra space after. It knows that, and that's the only difference. Okay, and then 6 is the same. If we do... Now, here, well, if we come down here, where's 6? If we do 6, it'll say nothing, because they're the same. 1 and 6 are the same. So let's come back here and look at this. We can do Z. We can ignore the space at the end of the line, this, with Z. Watch. Ignore end of line space with this. And then line 3 won't be mentioned. Only lines 1 and 2. Okay? Z will ignore white space at the end. W should ignore all white space. Okay? So it's only noticing... We told it to ignore it. If there's white space, then ignore it. Because sometimes in your coding, Roy, you're going to use white space. At the front, you'll put in spaces. And you could tell diff to ignore that. Okay? Now, you probably won't be using that for that. But this is diff. This is... You can use this in the terminal to compare two files. You could take the original file, like a configuration file. You have the original file, but then maybe someone edited something. You could use diff to see if there's a difference. Okay? Now, Roy, listen to me very carefully on this. Let's say in Linux that you have your setup configuration file for how you know it should be. But something isn't right and you don't know what. You could compare that original file that you know it should be to the current file, just run diff and type the 2. Just run diff. That's it. Just run diff. And it will show you the line number and if there's a change or something's added or deleted. And it's relatively easy to read and find. It's relatively easy to read and find. You can use diff to find those differences yourself. You probably won't much these days, but you can. But as you do that, maybe one file doesn't have white space and the other one does. You can tell it to ignore the white space, because white space generally doesn't matter in a lot of the code with a lot of the programs. Hey! Stop with the racket. Okay. We can ignore the case. See all these capital letters? Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe. So let's ignore it, especially if we're using MySQL. So now we ignore line 1 and we only look at lines 2 and 3. Now we can ignore case and white space with IW. Ew. We ignore everything. If we ignore the white space and the capital letters, then they are the same. Okay? They are the same. Again, line 1 and 6 truly are the same. Oh my goodness. Does that cup have the... Is that a cup for that chocolate grain healthy milkshake thing? Oh my goodness. That's an Ovaltine mug. Where did you get that? Where did you get an Ovaltine mug? That's swag. You need to keep that cup. Do you understand how valuable that cup is? Because Ovaltine doesn't make them. You don't go buy an Ovaltine mug. That's not normal. That's very, very swag. Okay, all right, look at me. See that? You know, I got my Ovaltine mug. Do you have an Ovaltine mug? No. Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because only I got one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Lines 1 and 6 or as far as files 1 and 6 are the same. So we don't see a difference. Maybe I want a positive answer to be sure, which would be this. S. Files are identical. Okay? Maybe I want, it didn't just miss something. Okay? I could also take files 1 and 5, which are, if I do ignore case and white space, then they are the same. Do IWS and still get those. Files 1 and 5 are identical. That is with the IW options. Okay? You with me? Okay. If they're different, I don't need to know why. I just need to know if they are different. So we do Q, which is a quiet answer. It's a quiet difference. I wonder if we could do QS. There we go. Q, they are different. 6, they are the same. So QS, just are they different or identical? Differ is a verb, by the way. Okay. Now, here's one of my favorites. Why? And this is much more useful side by side. Watch this. See, it puts them side by side. Here's a difference. Difference. Up here, the lines are gone. Okay. Here, we've only got this and not here. So, here's a difference. So the side by side, that's really useful. Forget line numbers. You can see the text. Okay. So let's go back and look at this. Remember the second file had a blank line in the beginning. You can ignore that with a capital B flag. Ignore the blank line. And now, okay, yeah, if we ignore the blank line, no problem. You can always learn more with it. Man for manual diff will show you how to use it. Lots of options. Tell you how. Okay. We can also compare them. Let's just run a quick compare on these. If we run compare. Oh, byte 1, line 1 shows more information. Okay. Okay. 3. Okay. They differ. They're different. Byte 95, line 3. This is CMP. This is the CMP tool. Okay. There it is. Okay. 6, they're the same. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do also. I'm going to take these and I'm going to sort them. We're going to make a new directory called sorted. And we're going to sort this in alphabetical order. So it's going to totally mess the file up, but we're going to put it into a sorted folder. Okay, so here we go. If we sort them, okay, here they are again, but sorted. Okay, so now com, we'll run com on these. Okay. Com would look at them com looks at them if they're sorted. They have to already be sorted in alphabetical order. And then it shows some of the differences this way. Okay. Okay. All right, 2 more things here before we get done. This is 49. Nano. We're going to come up here to verb.inc. Right here. So we're looking at these HTML files. I'm going to close these. Okay. So, for example, what are we opening? Verb.inc.html. Okay. So remember, this is a little mini web page, and this is the HTML for it. Okay. You can open this just like this text editor here. You can open it in the terminal using Nano. And there it is. I mean, you look at it, see? Okay. That's our file. And then you have cheat codes down here. Okay. This is control. M dash means alt. Okay. It's kind of easy. I can do control X for exit. It's a little bit intuitive. It's a little bit easy to use. Okay. M dash means alt. Okay. We can also use another one called Vim. Okay. And that will give us more syntax and colors. But Vim is strange. Vim is quirky. And really, it would be good to sit down with Vim and learn Vim. And if I were there with you, Roy, I would go through Vim with you. If you ever install Linux on a computer, run Vim Tutor. Because for example, here's how to exit out of Vim. Control Q. Or not control. I'm just here. I can do down, but here I can go. I'm pressing J to go down, and I'm pressing K to go up. I'm pressing L to go this way. I'm pressing H to go that way. I'm pressing J and K right now. J to go down, K to go up. L and H. That's what I'm pressing. And if I want to leave, I can also jump words. I can press W, and it will jump to new words. Jump to each new word W. Okay? And if I want to quit, I type : it appears at the bottom, I give my command. I can do something like this. set no new, which is no numbers, and all the numbers are gone. I can do it again, colon, set NU for numbers, and the numbers are back. Okay. I can do quit, Q to quit. If I want to edit something, right now I can't type. I'd have to do insert. Okay. WI, win. I have to do insert and then type W and then escape to get out. And then colon quit. If I want to save it, I have to do write. And then I can write it, or I can do write and quit. If I don't want to save it, I have to do Q exclamation mark. This is just an example. I don't expect you to remember this, but this is how Vim works. And it goes back to like the 80s or 70s. It's one of the oldest text editors ever. It's way before Nano. In fact, it was written by Bill Joy in Unix, and they ported it over into Linux. It's a port. But Bill Joy is the guy who made it so that the ones and zeros can become like commands in the file. Bill Joy wrote the lowest level of computer code that we work with today. He worked like it was very foundational. He was working with ones and zeros, and I think he helped create C language, which the basic operating systems are built on. Let's just look at this. What coding did Bill Joy create? This was Bill Joy. Okay, he did the Java programming language. Okay, he built the Unix operating system itself. He made the Vi. It was called Vi. Now they call it Vim, but Vi text editor, and provided the vision for Java programming language. Yup, he's the author of Vi. He made Unix, the Berkeley software distribution. Yeah, he created one of the first versions of Unix. Okay, he created a C shell, a command interpreter for Unix. Yup, an interpreter. I think he was working with ones and zeros. CSH. Like Bash, but it was very early. And Java. He was the chief. Oh, it's Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems developed Unix. Joy provided the inspiration and design for the overall Java programming language, fundamentally shaping. So, and much of the language we use today is from Java. He created very early basic stuff. And Vi was like his text editor. And again, it's back in like 1976. 1976. You know, now this has colors for today. They didn't have colors on the monitor in 1976. They were just all green. So a lot of people, it's very traditional to use this. But the thing is this, all these weird things like using the J to go down and the K to go up and the H to go back and the L to go right and then W to jump the word very quickly. If you get that in your head, you can actually edit this text file using those faster than you could get it using a mouse like this or even VS Code. If you get familiar with those weird keys in Vim, you can work faster here than you can here. Still today. It's not just an old way of doing things. It still is faster. It was a very fast way to work because they didn't have a mouse. There wasn't a mouse. The mouse didn't come along until the mid-80s. So that's Bill Joy. And then to learn to use it, we're done here. Quit. Exclamation. To learn to use Vim, Vim Tutor. Vim Tutor. And it will go tell you, it will go put you through things. It's about 20 minutes. If you only read text, you will forget the commands. You have to practice these lessons. And it gives you a little tutor. To move the cursor, press JK. So do this. It shows you how it works. Move the cursor around until you feel comfortable. And this is step 1. You see this? Hi, Drake. So it tells you to use them. Wait, Drake, that's pretty impressive. You're speaking. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Drake. Do you hear my dog? Can you hear him? Okay, here's the thing. He doesn't know how to bark. Okay, that's the alpha male. Okay, Roy, this is Vim Tutor. Okay, and you follow the instructions and you go through and you do it. Don't just read it. You do it, and when you're done, you'll have a basic understanding of Vim. There's much more, but you get a basic understanding. It takes about 20 minutes. So I give you Vim Tutor. Move this to 12. We're almost done. Okay. No, my dog, that's the alpha male. Like, he's the daddy of all the dogs. And he's small, but he doesn't know how to bark. Do you want to meet him? Well, here, we can meet him quick. Hey, Drake. Hello. Flavor. Here, Drake, come here. Come here, buddy. It's okay, come here. It's okay. It's okay. Stay. Good boy. No, puppies. No, you gotta get up. You gotta stay up. You can't come. No, you can't follow Grandpa. You gotta stay up. Hold on. Good boy, Drake. Wait for me, Drake. Wait for me. Good boy, Drake. Wait for me. Good boy. Okay. This is Drake. This is the daddy dog. And I have a video of Drake on the website, or on the Instagram. Drake is smaller than his son, but he kicks his son's butt. They got into it a couple weeks ago, and he's got a little scar on his head. It should mostly heal over. All the black hair should grow back. When dogs get a scar, all the hair falls out, it heals, and then all the hair grows back. It's kind of an interesting thing. So this is Drake. He's smaller than his son. But if he gets in a fight with his son, he'll beat his ass. It's kind of like watching that short guy in MMA beat everybody up with his Muay Thai, his Thai boxing. Do you know about this? Roy, do you know about this? In some of the, you see how cute and adorable he looks? He just looks so cute and little and aw. But if he fights a bigger dog, the bigger dog will end up running away crying. I'm telling you, this guy he's an ultimate fighting master, this dog. But he doesn't know how to bark. So he sits there for hours trying to figure out how to bark. And I give him a treat when he barks. I want him to know how to bark. So finally, when he's got it, he'll come up to me. See that? See that? See that? See, he knows what we're... And so he's come over to me. Hey, master, I took 3 hours and I figured it out. I barked. Can I get my bark treat? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Drake. This is Long Long. You can see the picture of Long Long. He still has his little name badge from Taiwan. He still has love you, Long Long. And he loves to cuddle too. This is Ipai Pai Funbi Taiwan Gaoshan Tugo. Right, buddy? Yeah. Oh, see, scratch my neck. See, scratch my neck. Okay. Roy, we're done. This has been a fun time. We got to see Drake, and we understand why he barked, and we did a very good job. We covered a lot of text tools. A lot of this is just reading in text, like how to read text files in Linux. That's what that was. Next lesson is going to be a little bit more boring but necessary. Try to get something typed, but maybe we can focus a little bit more on computer. Roy, see you next week, buddy.
Goodbye, Jesse.
Yep, bye.